This is how we play.
That's ritual. And this dwarf is as fast as a normal person. And you can't make them move. And you can't stop them from moving. That's kind of like... And they're a speedy little fucker. She's real speedy. Now, the first time I played her was in the first time we tried to play her was in a campaign that literally we didn't even get to the first adventure. And that was how Strong Hit and Melodia met. And Melodia is looking for the Phoenix because she's married to the Phoenix. You know, that embodiment of fire that decides to be a bird.
And he died. He died, and so he got turned back into like a little egg because that's how phoenixes do.
So you know, we're looking for the Phoenix, and my character's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I wander, and I do one of Lampay's standardized opening campaigns. I'm pretty sure, and we go into this temple to do a thing. And the dice were just not with me that day.
It was really good.
Like, I think I botched like 5 times in like as many minutes. It was bad.
It was incredible. She rolled like
8
critical failures in one session.
I tried to play as smart as I could,
and no critical successes.
So, you know, it was pretty bad. So, Lampay's like, well, that sucks. You made this character, and clearly that was the dice, right? And the thing is, I am looking for the Phoenix. So I find him. I find the Phoenix somewhere between life and death. He's kind of trapped. But then I'm like, hey bro, you're dead. And he's like, oh! Well, now I know how to get out of this. Right? So he leads me back towards the the living world. Does his thing to go wherever he is. And my body is like dead. So I have to reforge it. So everything around me melts. I like melt back together or whatever. Come back to life. The paladin that was with us was devastated and now in shock. And the boss of the temple is like, what the fuck, man? Just leave. What the fuck? What was it, a Hydra or a dragon? I don't remember. It was there for like...
What are you talking about?
There was a beastie in the middle of that temple that we raided. And it just like kind of looked at us. It was like,
You didn't even mention that.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Which temple?
Well, I assume it was a temple. It might not have been a temple.
What are you talking about?
But it's the one I died in. The structure I died in.
Oh, that was a Bahir. It's a Dungeons and Dragons monster. And as we have established, you guys don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, all my campaigns, like, are either highly homebrewed, Lampay, or, you know, are pretty short-lived. One of the two. Anyway, so, I found the Phoenix, kind of. So I tracked down Melodia, and we're like, okay, now that we know that the Phoenix is in this realm of existence, we now need to find him properly. And then, you know, we learn these rumors about this place that has a page where you can look up anything, you know, and we end up in the sea now.
One of these. It's about here. It's
what?
One of these. It's a kind of lightning lizard.
You shared the picture, yeah.
That's what a
So,
is.
like, a dragon hydra with too many legs. And only one head.
There's no dragon or hydra about it. Although it does breathe lightning.
Look, it's vaguely serpentine-shaped, okay? It's serpentine, and its mouth is filled with daggers. Right. So, they show up, and they have a little mini quest to get this this ball of stone from a shipwreck. And it's not very important, but we go do that. And I think there was a unicorn with us. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. It was an antique, basically.
Yeah. People just wanted it because it was cool.
Yeah.
And this is where... Yeah, this is when we start... Everyone starts building new characters so we can have backup characters just in case. Because we think some people might need to stay at the sea nail sometimes while everyone else is out. Because, you know, things be going down. Things are getting bigger. And so me and Miriam, I make the sea hermit. And originally I was going to have some tragic backstory, but it literally never came up and I never even explained it to Lampay. So instead the sea hermit was raised by octopodes or something. Lampay, sea hermit was raised by octopodes or something.
Whatever.
No. Oh, you know, sea hermit. Whatever. She's a shifter. But she's like a fish. But she's not just any fish. She's like an ungodly abomination fish. Like, she has those fin ears and like cuttlefish eyes, and she glows in the dark, and she has a tentacle tail, and it's real weird. She's probably what happens when several different types of shifters bang for and mix together too much. That's probably what happened. And she's a shaman ranger, and she wears her giant octopus on her head like hair. She does not naturally have hair, but it looks like she does because her animal companion pretends to. And that's basically sea hermit. Nopapa is also a hermit. Note, this means that the sea nail has a large thriving population of hermits. But, Miri can explain Nopapa while I go to the bathroom.
So... There's very little to explain about Nopapa. I decided I wanted to try playing like a psionic or something, because no one ever would play psionics in Lampay's system. And so I was like, sure, I'll try that out. And so I made the character, and then I sat there like, I wonder what I should name this character. And I looked at the character, and I remembered that someone else had named their character something meme-like. And I was like, fuck it, let's name it a meme. So I named them Nopapa, and it's from the Johnny Eating Sugar weird children's video that went viral. And because he says no papa, and that is the name of that character. They use mind powers that are so powerful that they can explode small planets. It's awesome.
Yeah. I'm gonna go get booze now. Explain Thud.
No.
Coming with the baby dragon.
Why do I gotta do it?
Because I'm gonna go get alcohol.
But I feel nauseous and don't want to do it.
Feel nauseous?
Okay.
Yes.
Then I will be back shortly and explain Thud.
Yeah, Daniel decided he didn't like having to know things or pay attention or treat anybody else during the game with any kind of respect. So he made a new character.
That is not true, and you know it. He didn't like the direction that Fiora went in because he had expectations for how she would be, and then she did not fit his expectations, and so he decided he wanted to play something else, and so he made that.
He literally said that the reason that he made Thud was because he didn't want to have to know things about the campaign. So he made an idiot.
Well, I mean, that's because it's hard to remember all this stuff, and he regularly wasn't able to pay attention for one reason or another. And if he plays an idiot, you won't get as mad at him for not knowing things. But I also know that he didn't like the direction that Fior went in, and so he wanted to play something else, so that he was playing a character that fit his expectations of how his character goes. And that's that. That is an Orkesh barbarian who gets your delivery to its recipient from point A to point B in a straight line and does not stop for any obstacle.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of a badass.
Yeah.
So yeah. Sometime during the whole ziggurat thing, Wahid, Signius, and Stuart went on an adventure. Wahid came back with the Demonomicon.
Yeah, dumbass.
And Stuart is missing. That's a thing.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. Thud shows up at the Sea-Nail with an egg. Because, you know, the Copper Dragon, we've determined...
No. There was a prophecy, and the male people had this thing as a delivery, and it was prophesized that it would have to go to someone really important or some shit. And they were all really confused and didn't want to deal with it, and so they decided to get rid of Thud because he was fucking obnoxious by making him go and do it. And so they sent Thud away.
There was a dragon there that made the thing, and we've determined retroactively that was in fact the Copper Dragon who gave him the egg.
Yeah.
Which did not have a Copper Dragon inside of it.
No, it had a brass dragon.
Hey guys, this was a source of much confusion. Don't worry about it too bad. Okay? Okay. But the Copper Dragon made a lot of puns and sends Thud on his way, teleports him into the middle of the ocean right next to the Sea-Nail. And he had a job, which was deliver this exact thing at this exact place, at this exact time. And so he does. He goes... Well, first he walks in, right? And Shune and Signius are having a fight. See, remember how I mentioned that we've been stealing furniture? Signius is like, dude, you can't just steal furniture from dungeons. And she's like, why not? It's loot. And he's like, no, weapons are loot. Furniture is furniture. It's just not the same. And Thud walks up, picks up a table, and swings it like a hammer.
Yeah, because we were.
And then he's like.
Can use table as weapon. Table is loot.
Yes. And Signius is also very strong, so you know, this logic made sense. So, then Thud takes the egg all the way down to the bottom level and puts it in the hand of those 3 dragon shamans statue, and it hatches a cute little baby dragon who is eventually going to become the ruler of the Sea-Nail, because dragons are cheaters.
Yeah.
This is the thing. So, Thud is fairly certain that it's part of his job to protect this dragon.
Yeah. Until it becomes the one... Until it acquires the throne, basically.
Yeah. So, we then send Thud along with... I believe this is the first time we played with, Sea Hermit. Did Trixie or Nopapa go to deliver the letter?
Which letter?
The one to Miyosh and Leotis.
Oh, Trixie did that.
Okay. So we, basically, Belthor sent an invitation, and he did not go. A, so I could play Sea Hermit, and B, because, Belthor doesn't want to go home. That's a bad plan. So, he sends them with this letter to invite Miyosh and Leotis to come live at the Sea. That's great. That's fantastic. Oh, by the way, didn't mention before, Miyosh is like a shadow walker, and Leotis, you know how he's high all the time? Well, the embodiment of his high, of the amount of high he is like this familiar that follows him around. It's like the Cheshire Cat or some shit, it's wild. And he deserves pets. This is important. So, we go to the beach. The beach is filled with, like, zombies or some shit. We kick their asses. Thud delivers the letter. And, Trixie, reports in. Is this where we figured out that the whole making out thing is a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Wait, what do you mean making out thing? Oh yeah, this is the first time that, that the mistress makes out with Trixie, and we find out that when she does that, she can just directly implant information into my brain.
Yeah, and vice versa. It's real cool. It's very, time-saving. So, Miyosh and Leotis get invited. We go back to the Sea Nail. And the Sea Hermit's like, hey guys, the Kraken is, the Kraken's about ready to kick your asses. What, have you not been paying rent on time? No, it just feels like you're, like, usurpers or whatever. And they're like, well, I guess we have to go kick the Kraken's ass. So now we have to go kick the Kraken's ass. And it's a team effort. And even the baby dragon comes along because it turns out baby dragons are badass. Go figure. Oh god. Sorry. The baby dragon is really cute.
Yeah. Baby dragons are as rule.
I'm remembering how adorable this baby dragon is. And it is very, very adorable. So, we decide to handle the Kraken before we go look for Stuart. This seemed reasonable at the time. So, we go down, Sea Hermit casts water breathing on everyone. We fight the Kraken and his minions. Thud does the most damage to the Kraken, and also the most damage to the park. Because, you know, Thud be like that. He's bad.
He does as much damage to us and the Kraken. He does more damage to us and the Kraken than we did to the Kraken.
Yeah. And, so, we saved the Kraken's beak, and now the Kraken's beak is, like, outside our doorway, so you have to walk through the Kraken's beak in order to get into the Sea Nail. That's baller. Nice intimidation factor right there. And, we go inside, and there's just this little fountain of water with a magic item on top.
Yeah, no, there's a strange fountain with spurting out water, and on and is that goddamn deck of cards.
Yes, and a little note that says, "Hey, thank you for helping me out and taking that guy out. As a reward, you may draw
2 cards."
Did he restrain us to 2 cards, or did we get to...
No, it's 2 cards. Lampay's style of drawing from the deck of many things, though he claims that it's supposed to be 3, is that you draw 1 good card and 1 bad card guaranteed. So you are guaranteed to have 1 good thing happen and for 1 bad thing to occur.
Well, I think it was a minimum of 2.
No,
but we were allowed to do more.
Well, yeah, it's the way that the thing is written is it's 3, but you were made to do 2, and then you had to draw the 3rd card when you got to the location. Because you had to draw the 3rd card in lieu of the people who couldn't draw theirs.
Okay. No, that is not true. Those people drew 2. You had. I recall those people drawing 2 cards too.
No.
Anyway.
Some of them drew 1 card in lieu of the people who would have drawn the others.
So, Belther got this cool bone wand, and Miri got, like, lich soap. Trixie got lich soap, I think.
Yeah.
And both of us lost our souls.
Yes, and we both drew a card that makes it so you lose your soul.
So, Hermit...
No, wait. What were both of Thuds? Because they're both important. We'll get to it later, but...
Oh, yes!
Some random person out there hates you.
And some dragon is going to be put in your path.
Yeah.
And I think there was a 3rd one.
Yeah, his dexterity went up by like 5 or something.
Yeah.
4.
Nice. So, and Trixie, or not Trixie, Shune. Sorry, there's X's in both your names.
And Shune did the most important and crazy, balls awful, bonkers thing that anyone in the entire fucking campaign has done. Which is, when she drew from the deck of many things, she got the card that basically gives you wish, and the thing she wished was that...
She drew a card that says that you can change one thing about your past.
Yeah.
But the thing that she changed was that she killed her mother, instead of her mother putting her in prison. And she didn't realize... She didn't realize the repercussions.
No, I thought it was that she wished that her mother died instead of her father. And then he died anyway.
Well, I thought that...
Yeah, you're right. He
died anyway because Shune killed him.
Yeah, Shune killed all of them. Because Shune didn't realize the repercussion of changing that thing in that way. Because it changed who she had been in order to make her do the thing.
By the way, Lampay, I'm remembering... did Kilpie change his civilization going extinct at this point, or was it previous? His wish from the genie.
No, it was... I don't think he got a wish from the genie.
No, I don't think he did either.
It was...
Because I don't think he... Yeah, no, he stayed behind because he was really uncomfortable with the fact that he was becoming so powerful.
Yeah.
And his power is linked to the sea nail. Because his hegemony thing with water goes through the dimension that's in the basement of the sea nail, so he sort of lives with that.
Kilpie has issues, guys. You'll get used. So this means we get to play our backup characters to save our original characters.
This is where we learned that Nobupov was good at exploding planetoids.
Right. So we have to go into the Chaos Realm. And we do.
That's pretty much what happened, yeah.
And we all step through the portal. But Shune is taking her sweet time, as it seems. And, what's Chaos Guy's name?
Olidamara.
Olidamara, yes. The guy who made the heart. That's not important for this campaign, but it is important for Nostria.
Oh wait, it was Olidamara.
Yes! Also, he's the one who made the deck.
He invented the deck of many things as a concept.
I didn't know that.
It is. Yeah. It says, "How do you like my game?"
Yeah. And he shows us an image of Shune lording over all her brothers and being like, "If you find Belthor, bring him back to me so I can murder him." And then Shune's allowed to step through the thing, and I'm like, hey Shune, I think you have an evil twin.
Yeah, and he sits there expecting us to be, like, concerned or worried about this, but none of us actually give a shit about Shune or any of her politics. Because that's what the other characters care about. We're playing our alt characters that don't give a shit about any of that. They're just here because Midas.
See, the sea hermit does like helping out, and, it's like, well, they lost their souls, I might as well, go and solve that.
And Nova is just a nosy shithead.
Yeah.
Nova just wants to know all of the tea, but doesn't actually want to, talk to anyone.
You wanted to read Trixie's brain specifically, because of the vampire shit.
Yeah, because she's psionics and Novapa's a psionic. And he's just, they are just a nosy. They are slightly more masculine than feminine, which is why we will fuck that up so many times. But they are, they're just a nosy shithead, and they use their psychic powers to eavesdrop on people, and that's their day-to-day pastimes.
Yeah. So we go in, and Alidamar's like, alright, first of all, sit down in these comfy chairs, and, you need to bet some things. Oh, right, I almost forgot. Wahid became convinced that he murdered Signius for power.
That was one of the things that happened, and that was fucking funny.
Yeah, that was his bad card. Made him believe that he had murdered Signius for power, and so anytime Signius left the room, he became convinced of this and became catatonic.
Yeah, he'd become really totally distraught, and just the follows these would be like, why would I do this? It was really funny. What happened to Signius?
And Signius would come in and be like, bitch, I'm right here.
Oh, Signius didn't draw.
No. Yeah, Signius was like, fuck that.
Yeah, Signius knew better. I think Wahid also got a stack of gems, which were probably just in a closet now or some shit.
Yeah.
The way that you guys do things.
Look, we don't have any time.
Yeah.
I'm an elf. I'm supposed to take 100 years to do anything. Why are you making me do all this shit all at once?
It's funny.
Right, so Alidamara is all like, alright, sit in these comfy chairs, and then Signius is like, hey, could you, give Wahid his memories back? And he's like, well, you're gonna have to gamble for it. And didn't he gamble, the memory of his mother? Or something?
Cause there was a running gag with Signius about his mom for some reason. I don't even remember how it started. But his memory of his mother.
It started with the what do I get my mom for Mother's Day?
Yeah, but I'm not even think Mother's Day is a thing in Ravinin. But I don't know, maybe it is. That seems like the sort of thing that you could make sense of without it needing to be based in religion for whatever reason. But I think that it was actually he suggested it, but then Thud wound up being the one who went instead.
Well, so I think he actually lost it, and then Thud was like, double or nothing, basically. And he's like, hey,
Wait,
so...
What did he lose? Wait, what did he lose?
The memories of his mom or something?
Yeah, no, we did actually lose. And then, and he was fine with that. And then Thud was like, wait, you need those. And so he made the bet. And he betted the most genius and hilarious thing to have chosen, which was, he bet his memory of the taste of beer.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Alidamara,
fortunately,
just could not cheat. He couldn't cheat this man out of his memory of beer.
Yeah.
And afterwards, he's like, it turns out you won, and Thud's like, yeah, I figured if I lost, I'd just drink beer for the first time again.
Yeah, it was really good.
And Alidamara's like, that's genius.
It was brilliant, and we have not done it justice.
Yeah. Then Alidamara's like, okay, you have three choices. You can take the high road, the middle road, or the low road. And this is the Chaos Realm, right? Is it called Pandemonium?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. So, Signius is like, well, we should take the high road. And the rest of the party just looks at him and are like, are you fucking crazy? What? Well, the low road has the demons. And it's like, yeah, but the high road has the celestials. What's the problem with that? Well, you see, not everyone in this party is, strictly speaking, good.
Well, it was that the vast majority of the people involved in the group weren't going to be able to live up to the expectations of celestials.
Yeah.
Even most good people aren't celestial good.
Yeah. So they might kill us for being assholes.
Yeah.
Which, may I remind you, all of these characters are assholes. Except maybe Signia. And I'm doubting that now, Lampay.
No, Signius is an absolute bitch. He's just the reasonable one.
Yeah, and he can throw down if he has to. He's a very violent person.
So, we go through the middle road, which is full of these planetoids that, will do random damages to you. And there's treasure on these planetoids that, we're like, okay, if we end up near the treasure, we'll grab it, but if we aren't, we're not going to bother looking for it. Because, this is a lot of damage. And Lampay's like, wanting the treasure is what's supposed to make this hard, man. And we're like, we have an end goal. And at the end of it, after Nopapa has exploded many a planetoid,
yeah, it was fucking awesome. It's one big spell that just smashes things.
Yeah. We end up... I used to know what they were called, but for the past few months, I haven't been able to remember. But
What
the
are
frog people?
Oh, shit.
You mean like bullywugs?
No, they're the chaos ones.
Oh, you mean Slod?
Yeah, slods, them. Thank you. So, we met, what was he, a Slod King or something? He had it, a horny crown growing from his head.
A golden Slod.
He talked to us in Psychic. And he had Trixie and Belthor's souls. And he's like, okay.
He was the one that was responsible for the creation of that particular deck.
And he was like, you must draw one more time for each of these souls.
Yeah,
so the Sea
the
Hermit
third
is like,
card.
well...
Yeah, that was the third card. That was why everybody had to draw one more time.
I don't remember who drew the other card.
Wait, so Shune drew again. Did Sea-Nail draw?
Sea Hermit drew.
Yeah.
And
then, did I just call Sea-Nail?
Yeah, she got the Shadow, which made it so that she had to fight a version of herself to the death in a Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
I think Nopapa drew, but I don't know what Nopapa would have gotten.
And the problem is we didn't actually want to play through, fighting myself to the death. That seemed, exhausting. So instead, we determined that it doesn't matter who won, because Sea Hermit went through, an existential crisis and does not know if she is the original or if she's actually an agent of chaos. So now she'll just, randomly play minor pranks on things to, make people go, what the fuck, and hopefully keep the chaos off her back. Because she doesn't know if they can make her do more chaos things if she doesn't do enough chaos. A little paranoid. A little bit.
Yeah.
But, we got their souls back. And we brought them back to the Sea-Nail. And we put them back in their bodies. And now... Oh no! Shune did draw the other one. She drew prison. Right? This is important. She drew prison. which put her in a very appropriate prison, whatever the most appropriate prison is. And we're like, well, crap. We need to look for her, but we know she's in shit. And you know, Stuart's missing, but he's probably just kind of missing. We were wrong, but it's okay. Everything ended up fine. Now, this next part got rather convoluted, because remember, Belphor can teleport to Shune's side, but none of us know where the seamstresses, so my mom's prison, is.
Yeah. There's always been tales that the seamstress had a prison somewhere. The Dowager seamstress? Because she wasn't technically official. She was still technically filling in for your sister. So I think that's Dowager. Anyway, so nobody was sure where that prison was. But if it existed, that would be where Shune was being held, and Belphor could get there, but then what? We wouldn't even know where it would be, necessarily.
So we made 2 teams. One is Team Jailbreak, and the other one was like Team Extraction, right? So Belphor and several other people just teleported into the prison to make sure Shune was okay and tried to find a way out of it. I think this is also around the time where we made the amulets for communication reasons. The amulets basically just, they're like cell phones or walkie-talkies. So we can contact each other, and it's cool. Trixie and Thud, at the very least, were on the other. This is important. I don't remember who all was in each team. But I think the suspicious people teleported into the prison, and the non-suspicious people were out of the prison. Now, Shune's first card fucked the timeline quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, Mom's dead. And there's another Shune. She's evil. That's the thing. She's trying to find Belphor. Why? So she can murder Belphor. Why would she want to murder Belphor? Because if she murders Belphor, she can summon a permanent giant that is an avatar of the Emerald. But also, I don't like being murdered.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. So, Trixie rocks up and is like, "Hey, Thud, deliver me to Shune." And he does. And Trixie immediately, tries seducing Shune, because that's a thing now, apparently.
Because, I mean, well, she's not gonna be into, regular Trixie. I mean, regular Shune. But, this isn't her Shune. This is a different Shune.
Yeah.
So, this one's free game.
Yeah. And, so that's cool. Chlor's there. And Chlor is kind of sort of mentoring other Shune. That's... And, he's also going a little bit crazy. Because he has no idea why, but suddenly, all of his plans are going off without a hitch. He doesn't even have to go to plan B. And it's driving him bonkers.
Yeah.
And he has no idea why.
Chlor's cockamamie plots were always very difficult to manage, and things were always getting in his way, and he didn't really understand what was going on, but a lot of that had to do with the Beggar Queen. But when everything suddenly and unexpectedly changed, that meant that the Beggar Queen, a lot of the stuff that the Beggar Queen had been doing now was not a thingy anymore, or it was wrong. And so to react to that, the Beggar Queen turned everything inward and turned everything into defense mode. And so then Chlor, who had a high enough wisdom to already suspect that something was happening, that something was different, that something wasn't right, that he's sort of aware that there's this version of reality where he was constantly struggling, where that isn't what's happening. And instead, all of his plans seem to be working out all of the time. And he knows there's something off about that.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, isn't he and the mistress like the only people of importance outside of alternate dimensions that noticed anything?
Basically, yeah.
Well, as far as you guys know.
But Clore doesn't even know.
Yeah.
He just his inner alarm bells are ringing, but he has no idea why. So, I teleported to Shune's. Turns out, I also teleported to Stuart's side.
Yeah, Stuart was
and,
injured.
Stuart hadn't been fed in like a week. Or at least, because you see,
so the thing is that the prison's in an alternate dimension, and so the only one who knew that the people in there were there was in fact Shune's mom, but now Shune's mom is dead, so no one knows that anyone's in there.
Yeah. So, Stuart's just been slowly starving. Thankfully, we specifically said that, we brought extra food and water and stuff.
Changing
just
time didn't change that, though, because they were in a different dimension.
Yeah. So, we fed Stuart. We're like, okay, now we need to wait for Trixie to break us out. And Trixie seduces Clore again, and somehow gets Clore to free us. Now, this is unfortunate, because now Belthor is kinda sorta in Clore's debt.
Yeah.
And he hates Clore. Fuck that guy.
Well, who doesn't? Well, Trixie, I suppose. It's probably
And
premature.
the worst part is he's starting to become fond of him. Ugh. That's not allowed. Fuck that guy. So, we're able to escape, mostly because Shune hid in her room while Trixie and Clore fucked outside of her door. So she didn't see the rest of us. That's a thing that happened. Do you guys remember anything else that happened during that specific thing? Other than...
What thing? Sorry.
The first time you tried to seduce Shune.
Yeah, okay. Wait. So, from what I understand, are we talking about the first time we meet other...
Yes.
So, here's what happened. We went there with Thud. Thud was with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Thud pick me up and deliver me into the room, and I burst in, and I said, "It's orgy time!" And everyone dispersed, and Shune was like, "Oh my fucking god." But everyone else was like, "Well, guess the meeting's over. Let's go." From what I recall.
See, the problem is Trixie is a high enough rank that they can't just,
Yeah.
like,
Off me.
kill her.
You can't just, off me. Yeah, I'm a bit more important.
Because she represents the Beggars Guild.
But yeah.
And you don't want to piss off the Beggar Queen.
Correct.
Yeah. And so everyone dispersed, and I started following after Shune, and Clore was also there, and he was attending to her side, and I believe she stormed off and locked herself in her room, and then me and Clore started making out right outside of her. And so she, at one point, she eventually opened the door to leave, and she saw the two of us making out in front of her door, took a step back, and
And I think everyone else, was talking to Clore's minions. Oh! And there was a very unimportant wine bearer child. Completely unimportant.
Yes, terribly unimportant.
Don't worry about him. But I do know that you and Clore are able to open up the portal, and we escape. And we just leave, and we go back to the sea nail, and we start, you know, trying to spruce up the place properly. And the Leviver Guild shows up. Oh, also some other shenanigans with the Demonomicon happened. Like, Trixie stole it, and then he stole it back.
Trixie got her hands on the Demonomicon, and then they got on a boat, and she had a hallucination of him, and then freaked out, and then he came in through the door, and the hallucination disappeared, and she was like, "What the hell? No, this is fine. This is perfectly fine and reasonable. This is fine." And and everyone moved on, but while she was not paying attention, he stole.
Yeah. Also, we bought Stuart like.
Yeah, cause like he didn't deserve any of that bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just out there to watch the boat, man.
And he got kidnapped, and it took us an entire week because things kept going down, and we saved him by accident, so you know, 2 free bows. Right? And also Trixie got a pleasure, like a yacht, to have parties. And Wahid keeps doing things he doesn't remember, creepy things involving the Demonomicon. We're vaguely worried, but also whatever. Our ceiling is cursed.
Yeah, what's up with that?
So remember the whole thing with the Phoenix and strong it? So apparently coming back to life, if you don't do it properly, gets you cursed by demons.
Strong Hit was cursed by the same entity that tried to stop the Phoenix from being reborn. And that's how they found one another in the afterlife. That entity was the entity that was being worshipped by the worshippers that you fought when you got Ire back. Which is to say the Phoenix. That entity is the one that scorched your ceiling. Because that's the place where the dwarf lived and worked.
Yeah. And so yeah, they finally get news of where the hell they need. That's cool. And the Leviver Guild showed us. The Leviver Guild is like, first of all, you guys seem pretty chill. You're in charge of the. Second of all, we want the Demonomicon and the page. And we're like, yeah, we'll totally give you the page eventually.
At this point...
And Trixie's like, but I want the Demonomicon.
By this point, the guild had become...
because it could be... Well, so she wanted to use the Demonomicon to summon her two succubus bitches and her incubus boy toy.
Yeah. Continue, Lepe.
Oh no, go on.
No, she muted herself.
Yeah, that was it. That's what you wanted it for.
Yep.
That's it.
The Leviver Guild noticed that we were being a power in the middle of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, ah, yes, you're clearly taking over the ocean. And we're like, we are? Ah, yes, definitely. We are definitely taking over the ocean. That's what we are doing. For we are sly. And powerful.
Which they hadn't noticed was in fact the case.
Yeah, we did not notice that we were becoming sly and powerful, but whatever. Kilpie's pretty cool. He's running everything. And so we need to make a structure, a power structure to the guild, and I'm like, so we should have like a tribe with Kilpie, which will eventually be replaced by the dragon, because
Well, that's just the ocean stuff. That's specifically the power that the person who runs the sea nail has over the ocean, and the connection to the oceanic plane, which will eventually be taken over by the dragon for sure. But the guild is a lot of other things too, right? The guild has got connections to all of the most important intelligence organizations in the region through Belthor's relatives and Trixie's, for lack of a more appropriate word, family, right? Which is to say the Beggars Guild and the Seamstresses Guild. The Tailors Guild, and the like you have pirates and stuff and sailors that are all set up there and have become a de facto place to go for talks between organizations that would otherwise be fighting, so that there can be conversations between navies and pirate fleets and representatives and things like that. Or between different naval powers.
Yeah, we're officially pretty neutral.
Exactly. And they've just set up a mail service and a shipping system as well. So by this point, there was a flotilla at the Sea Nail pretty much at all times, which was just a fleet of ships that was coming or going at any point. So that there was always just this like surrounding area of boats.
Yeah. So the triumvirate includes whoever has that position, Trixie, and you'd think the third one would be Belthor, but Belthor refuses to be in charge of anything, so it's shooting. Also, he doesn't want to do the paperwork, so he makes his little sister do it.
There's something really weird going on there with there being two Shunes, one and two organizations which may or may not be directly connected to each other in this way, where some people are going to find out that the person in charge of both of these guilds is the same person, or is it, etc. It's going to be a real crazy situation for a while.
So we're like, yeah, we'll get those items to you. And we make them pretty presents, and they give us pretty presents, and everything's but we need to send representatives to the Leviver Guild. So we send, I know Strong Hit and Melodia go, so do Wahid, Signius, and partially because, Signius is in a where the Leviver Guild is also. And people keep on telling him to call her and just show up. So, but also Belthor and Trick begins to do. So oh man, I'm trying to remember what I know. We went to wish for trade agreements. They were like, "Hey, buy some fishing nets from you," and we were like, "How about you give us your fishing net?" What? And somehow that happened. That was weird. We had a rather strange combination of crit failures, if I remember correctly. But Belthor is also just crocheting fishnet in front of, and the Blitzen Blitzen Fair live close enough to the Dark Elves to know that that is in fact it is intimidating to knit in Dark Elf society. Because that means you're...
Tell them fishnets and fish.
Yep. Lots of fishnet. And during that entire thing, we discover that the Dark Elf forces are, like, heaving through in a straight line. They're not, like, fortifying or anything. They're just going in a straight line to where the old center was. And we're like, this is Chlor, isn't it? It's always fucking Chlor. Well, I guess we got that right. We don't want him to get whatever is... we go to do that. And, we find these people who are fighting them, and apparently we were prophesied to come help them or whatever. There was this emo wizard with, like, hair that Belthor was totally planning didn't happen for reasons. Like,
I've got no connection at all and haven't heard anything you've had to say for several minutes.
Damn it!
I'm gonna go fuck with shit and see if I can fix it.
Okay, I'm gonna play my YouTube video in the background. So, you'll just start hearing that.
Why are we hearing YouTube?
Because I don't want to sing. I've been talking too much.
Thinking it was gonna get better, and it just never did.
Well...
What would get better?
The connection.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me enough for me to continue?
Yes.
Okay.
What were you talking about?
I don't like fruit punch.
I don't like fruit punch. Okay, that's a topic.
Sorry. Cameron handed me a Gatorade. Well, Cameron handed Carly a Gatorade, and he had two of them, and I grabbed one of them, and she grabbed the other, and I just sort of handed it off because it was fruit.
So, because a lot of what's about to happen on the Belthor side happens while Shune is traveling to the Sea-Nail, or not to the Sea-Nail, to the Leviver Guild. I was going to talk about that, but Lampay is now gone.
No, I'm not.
And I don't... Oh. Right. So there's this delay between the camera and you. So...
Yes.
You know.
Welcome to the internet.
Yeah, it happens. So, we go to the Blitzen Fair to make up a trade agreement, and we start, like, talking about, you know, fights with the Dark Elves, because clearly I'm willing to help them fight the Dark Elves, mostly because Dark Elves are assholes. No one knows that better than the Dark Elf.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's cool and all. And there's these Dark Elf forces that are going straight for the old center of the old society. And we're like, that's Chlor. That's gotta be Chlor. Right? So I stopped knitting, which I was doing to intimidate everyone around me, and it worked. And Rubazal is like, why don't you take my wife Freya with you to go do this stuff? Now, it's important to note that Belthor is thoroughly aware of the entirety of Freya's body and the entirety of Phoenix's body. But he can't say shit because time has reset and they don't remember him. Right?
They'd never met.
We have never met, but Belthor remembers him. A little bit awkward, but Belthor is great at bluffing. So, you know. So... we're like, that's gotta be Chlor. We probably have to stop him. It's probably a bad idea to let him get where he wants to. You know. And also, he seemed to be annoyed about having such an easy time about things. Might as well make his life a little bit harder. He seems to like that. So, you know.
thank you for your time. Like, comment, subscribe, and share.